COVID second wave is making survival in India tougher by day. The situation is getting worse every second. If you think why is this happening, why is this getting out of hand, and how can we stop this, or what could have been done to prevent this from happening, you will be perplexed with more questions than the answers. The more you think about it, the more you will be baffled by this. I mean, what lessons did we learn from the first wave that honestly changed the handling in the virus? When COVID started in 2020, government announced lockdown without any hint. Thousands and lakhs of daily wages and migrant workers suffered and lost their lives while trying to reach their homes. And we dusted that off like it was nothing with no consciousness, and all we did was feeling sorry afterwards when all was said and done. True, the lockdown prevented the spread of virus and bought us a moment to breathe for a bit, but the whole point of lockdown was to buy some time so that we can be prepared and take necessary measures. Instead, it turned into nothing but a mess. All the authorities did was advising us, the public, to stay home and support the frontline workers. Along with that, what they should have done was to divide the work, assess the situation, stock up the necessities, financially backing up the economy with appropriate budget cuts, or refocusing on the essential sectors, scout for the more frontline workers, prepare the volunteers if required so that they can be available if the situation demands. But nothing supports the thought they did something good during more than 3 months of this lockdown period. How could you expect a daily wager to stay home and stay safe when they got nothing if they don't work? Yet, that's what happened. Not even a single government dedicated a scheme purely based on economically undeveloped class that benefits only poor irrespective of caste or religion. Every scheme that was initiated is solely based on caste or religion. Are we sure that everyone in need is getting the help they want instead of being denied because of their caste or religion? India agonized a ton economically during this period and still hurting from the repercussions of that. Millions of people lost their livelihood, employment, lives during this period. Even if everything goes back to normal tomorrow, we can't expect everyone to get back to their normal lives, and that's how awfully the pandemic smashed us. Now, as I said, what could have prevented the second wave? How could a rational plan have changed the fate today? When the cases started to drop in early November, we celebrated like it was the end. A government that should be responsible enough to plan for the future recurrences buried the thought like it was never going to happen. An opposition that should suggest, criticize, support, or stand tall if necessary chose to be an opportunist. Media that should create awareness, give us hope, alert us if required, chose to join the bandwagon of corrupt politicians and decided against awareness for the gain in the TRP. And the public least they could do is to protect themselves and their folks and acknowledge that the threat is yet to be neutralized, prefer to party hard and ignore every bit of precaution that could save their own lives. And the result is what brought us here. That terror to even walk in your own balcony as you are uncertain who is breathing down. The shivers in your spine after the sneeze even though you know it's just an allergy. The panic to go to market and deal with the unknown person as there is uncertainty on whether they are uninfected. All these with several other thoughts are shattering the inner peace. Or at least that's what I am telling myself every day for not coming out. Again, what could have been done? Are we sure that there is no third wave lurking around? When countries around the world are opening up and getting back to normal, we are driving towards the horror. As I said, lack of planning, vision and responsibility directed us here. And I know this country isn't equipped with hospitals everywhere, but that's what bothering us now. Forget about the new ones. Functioning of present ones are improbable. We got a year to think, either to take a step forward or dread in the past, and we chose the latter. No new establishments were started across the country over the past year. No new scheme is proposed to the least to support the initiative. Let's be frank, does your village have a hospital? How far is the hospital from your village? Other than a town, how difficult is it to find a hospital near the rural areas? And that too, we can't trust the government hospitals nor afford the private hospitals. The entire healthcare system is a sham. The reality is more haunting than the actual disease. Hospitals are charging lakhs for days, tests, medicines and care is more depressing because irrespective of the success in the recovery of the patient, surely the hospitals make us broke and even push us deep into debts. If a middle class man is terrified and scared, what about the poor? With all due respect to the healthcare professionals, we most probably lose faith going to hospitals than staying in homes. Well, that's how the system is. Rulers never mind, we never asked, and the people who fight for that were trolled, bullied and faded. How pitiful is this situation? The government should have learned the lesson the first time around, and we should have tried harder. Both didn't happen and now we are moving towns, crossing borders for proper care. Worst of all, we are being detained from the care. So what exactly should have been done? When India started vaccination, we already entered the second wave. Lack of proper planning and generating awareness hurt us here as well. At first, people are skeptical, choose to take time and waste thousands of vials of vaccine. Now we are fighting, even bribing if possible to get a shot despite getting the second dose is unlikely. Throughout this month, most of the states are halting the first dose and completing the second dose. Still, not even a quarter of the population is vaccinated. I know it's tough to vaccinate a whole country with more than a billion people in under months. But still, do you think everything is going fine and government is doing its best? Experts and officials stated that it would take a year and a half at least for the whole country to be vaccinated. So what exactly can we do until then? When almost 65% of the cases are from the youth and the adult, we are stuck in vaccinating over 45, and I don't know how well the ploy is working. Governments announced that it would take at least September to start vaccinating age groups from 18 to 45. So what until then? Where a country like United States, which suffered the most during the first wave for months, dosed up the public and even stocked more than 3 times than required, also announced that people can walk mask free from now. On the contrary, we are suffering from second wave, shortage of vaccine, doubts on meds, denial of care, insufficiency in oxygen, then this failing economy. And still it feels like this is far from over.